Hello, my name is Chase Henson. I am the pastor at First Baptist Church in Bonham, Texas. Today you have found Family Friday. Family Friday is a usually weekly installment that we do. We post it on Facebook, and it's just a kind of designed to be an encouragement to families. We typically deal with a lot of parenting type things, but sometimes we mix some other things in as well. Today we're going to be talking about the challenge of chores, and I got to thinking about this topic because I was thinking about things as we get back into school and the schedule of the school year, and a lot of times we kind of pick up things that we've either neglected or haven't done with as much intentionality in the summer as we usually do. And as I was thinking about that, I happened to see this video of this little toddler from Canada he was maybe 18 months, 2 years old, something like that, and he was helping his family, his parents, with the dishes, and so it was a really cute video. And so I got to thinking, what about that idea of chores, and as it relates to just some of the normal warp and woof and rhythms of life. And so I wanted to talk to you about a few quick things here about chores this morning, and then I'm also going to ask you if you would share down in the comments below some ideas that you have about chores, maybe something that you found works for your family, or maybe some, you don't really expect your kids to do chores, and so something that you'd like to see them do, or some ways that you want to improve on that, or anything like that. So we'd love for you to interact with those things in the comments. So one of the things that I think we need to consider as parents is that chores are not just tasks to be done around the house, but they're opportunities to learn and grow as kids. And so we're going to come back to that idea in a few minutes. But here's a few quick things about chores and the family, the challenge of chores. Number one is this: all chores should be age appropriate. And I think this is one of the reasons why sometimes chores get difficult. Now, certainly the rebellion of our kids and their desire not to do chores is a big part, but a lot of times it's easy to expect too much of our kids. I know I do that quite a bit, and Melissa, my wife, has to remind me maybe they can't do that. They're just kids, and so chores need to be age appropriate. And so when we're thinking about trying to get our kids to participate around the house and begin to do some tasks and contribute to the household, then we want to make sure that they are age appropriate. So for instance, when our kids are really young, maybe they're 2, 3 years old, a lot of their chores need to be much more supervised. Like, they can clean up, but they need a lot of help and direction cleaning up. You can't just tell them to go into their room and say, all right, clean it up and get it ready. That's too broad, too big for them. You can say, hey, go pick up your Legos and put them in this bin, and you go in there with them and either supervise or help. And so when they're young, it tends to be a lot more supervised and help, right? Maybe they spilled something and you expect them to clean it up, but you're going to do it with them, or something like this. And so I think the younger they are, the more supervision they need. Now, our kids are 5 and 7, and so they're kind of getting to the point now where they can do more things with at least less supervision, or at least only kind of occasional looking in. And I'm going to give you some examples of some of the things that we expect our kids to do. Some of these are like everyday kind of things, and some of them are just occasional. So for instance, every single day we expect them to make their bed, to put on their own clothes and shoes. We expect them to play with one of our outside dogs each day. And then we have some other occasional things, like sometimes we have them feed the pets. We have them every day sort their clothes into the laundry baskets, and then sometimes we have them put up clothes when they've been folded. A lot of times I'll try to get them to help me with trash cans, emptying the trash in the trash can to take it out, and things like that. And our older son is actually getting to the point where he can do a lot more personal hygiene on his own as well, whether that's kind of taking a bath with supervision, drying off, putting his towel up, and things like that, brushing their teeth, combing their hair, and things like that. And so as they grow, they get more and more. Now, one of the things we're trying to do with our kids is giving them a little bit more independence and help them understand the need for these things. So we may say, all right, go into the playroom and clean everything up like we would clean it up, and then we come in later and kind of inspect it and see how it's going. So I think this is a big thing. And of course, as your kids get older, they progress and have more and more. If you'd like more information about age-appropriate chores, Focus on the Family has a great series of articles about these things, and I'll post that in the comments. So age appropriate is a big thing in helping chores be a productive endeavor in the home. The second thing is, especially as your kids get older, you might consider a two-tiered system. And what I mean by this is, I remember when I was growing up, there were certain things that we were expected to do around the house just as part of the family, but then there were also especially occasional things that our parents would ask us to do, and they would compensate us for that. So we didn't really get like an allowance per se. It wasn't just money that we were given every single week, but instead, like, every day we were to feed the dog, that was something that we were expected to do as being a part of our family. But like, the car doesn't have to be washed every single day, maybe every week or every couple weeks, depending on, how much you like to wash your car. And so maybe our parents would give us $10 for washing the car, or they'd say, hey, this room needs to be cleaned out, and we'll give you $15 for cleaning it out, or something like that. And so I think this two-tiered system, where there's some things that you're expected to do as chores and other things that maybe you're compensated for, is a good opportunity both to see that some things are to be done just because they need to be done, but there's also rewards for doing a good job on other things as well. And so this teaches personal responsibility, and we'll come back to that in a minute. The third thing I want to say is to find a rhythm that works for you. So some people use chore charts, some people do reward systems, some people do different reminder type things. And I think all those can be helpful tools if they work for your kids, and I think a lot of age has something to do that as well. One of the things I think is important about this is time of day. So, of course, one of the things we try to get our kids to do, as soon as they get up and have breakfast, they dress, and then they go and make their bed, right? That's just part of the normal rhythm of their day. And some things, can't always be done at certain times, but the more rhythm there is, especially for kids, the more concrete that is, the more likely they are to do it and to know that that's the expectation. And that's actually the fourth thing, is you need to set that expectation. Again, that being a part of a family means contributing to the good of that family, and so chores are not just drudgery, although sometimes we may not want to do them, but instead they're a means of loving our family and serving our family and contributing to the good of the home. And so placing those things in a context, especially as your kids get older and can understand that concept a little bit more, hopefully begins to teach them about also contributing to society around them, to other people. So it gets them in a mindset that considers others and not just their own desires and their own things that they want to do. So setting an expectation of chores are a part of the normal activity of family life. And not only that one of the things we try to do is make sure that chores are done before play. So for instance, the kids have to go and they throw the ball for our outside dog Murphy, and they usually have to do it 30 times because their throws aren't super long, and so it's a good exercise for the dog, and they get to spend time with him and also contribute to our family. And so no play-in and things like that can be done in the afternoon until that particular activity, that particular chore is done. Of course, this is a way to motivate that behavior because they will want to play, and so they'll do this because they want to get to that, which has its own life lesson, of course. But also, it's just a way for them to understand that certain responsibilities come before other things, especially when it comes to things that have to be done and things that merely we want to do. So set an expectation. Now, there are lots of benefits to chores, and we could probably come up with a ton of them. I'm just going to mention a couple things here for you to think about, especially if you don't make your kids, or you're not sure if you want your kids to do chores. This can be a helpful thing to think, what could they learn from it? It can be a positive experience and not just, hey, I want them to do something I don't want to do, or something like that, right? It's really an opportunity for you and for them together. So chores teach personal responsibility and independence. So the more, as they grow and they gain more ability and more awareness, then they learn independence, right? They learn that they're going to have to sort their own clothes and eventually wash their own clothes, so that whenever they then leave the house, they know how to do clothes. And so that's the second thing. It prepares them with basic life skills. So chores actually teach responsibility and prepare our kids for when they leave our home and are able to go off and do their own thing. So as they grow, maybe they're 13, 14, they can begin helping cook meals, so that way that's part of their chore for each night or once or twice a week or something like this. And then as they go off, then they know how to prepare a meal, or they know how to do their laundry, or they know how to vacuum the floor, right? All these basic life skills that sometimes seem to get overlooked, but chores are a great way to introduce those skills and those things and to teach responsibility for them as they go along. And probably one of the things that we often overlook is that chores actually provide a ton of teaching opportunities, whether that be teaching on the need for loving service to other people, or for how our attitudes go into what we do, right? That work is a good thing from the Lord that we must do. And certainly in a fallen world, it feels like labor, but we're excited. We should be excited to obey Him, right? We work as unto the Lord and things like this. So it gives us purpose. We have opportunities for service. So all these are like life lessons that can come out of chores, especially as our kids don't want to do them. And then we get to say, but here's why this is a good opportunity. And of course, one of the things that it often does is gives opportunities for building relationships, whether that be you're doing chores or tasks at home with your kids, and therefore you get opportunity to talk to them and interact with them, or even between siblings, right, where we kind of we learn teamwork and working together and doing things together and helping one another. So all these things are good things that come out of chores. Now, it's a challenge, no doubt, because we all rebel against things that we don't want to do, and work is hard, and we don't always want to do it. And so our kids are going to do that. And so our attitudes as we go into it need to be modeling for them what to do. And of course, it requires a great deal of patience. And this is probably one of the areas where I struggle, because I want them to just be able to do it. And it takes a lot of time for them to learn a task and then to develop a good attitude for those tasks. So that's our word today on chores. Consider that as you guys are getting back into the school year and establishing some rhythms, some schedules. And maybe you can redeem those family tasks in some way to teach your kids about good attitudes, about how we love and serve one another, and how we work as unto the Lord and not unto men. Now, if you happen to be in Bonham and you don't have a church home, or you're looking for a church home, we'd love to invite you to our church. On Sunday, we have Sunday school for all ages at 9:30 a.m. That's followed by a corporate worship service at 10:45 a.m. So we'd love to see you there. If you'd like more information about that, make sure to go to our website at fbcbonham.com, where you can click the What to Expect tab up in the right-hand side, and you'll be able to see all the information about nursery and what to wear and anything you need to bring, anything, all those kind of things. So make sure that you hit that, and then if you have any questions, you can always call us or contact us on the web, through Facebook, whatever is good for you. But we hope to see you then, and until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you. See you again soon.